If someone came into my room today and burned down all of my playing cards, which is almost 300 decks at this point, and said you can keep 5 of them, which we will replace for free, these are my top 5. Starting off at number 5, we have the Virtuoso Fall Winter 17s. And although the Tug Box is fine, it's not the reason I would choose this deck of cards. It clearly has to be the cards themselves. You have 3 different shades within the green and black triangles and 4 within the gray triangles. This circle back makes it look amazing for aerial moves. And when it comes to the faces, the 2 lines coming out from the outside of the deck makes even fanning the faces look beautiful. Plus, this is actually my thinnest deck in my entire collection, which is going to make cardistry even easier than any other deck of cards. And that is why this deck right here is my number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have the House of the Rising Spade V2 playing cards by Stockholm 17. Clearly, this tuck box is absolutely insane. The amount of gold foil and even black foil that went into this tuck box with the embossing and debossing and everything, absolutely exquisite. When it comes to the most elegant tuck box in my collection, this one literally hits number 1. It's not the most innovative for tuck boxes, but it is definitely the most elegant. Even the inside of the tuck box is completely done with artwork. And on top of that, the playing cards hold the same amount of value. The back design has tons of gold foiling and intricate designs on a black stock, which makes it look super beautiful. And when it comes to the faces, you have a gold border that goes around the outside. The background is literally different for every single one. It makes it look extremely elegant. Plus, your Joker, 2 ad cards, and Ace of Spades are all done in gold metallic ink. But then honestly, my favorite part about this deck is the court cards. There honestly has not been a single deck in my collection that can trump these 12 cards. They're beautiful, they're intricate, and no other deck compares to them. And that's why this deck right here is number 4. Now coming in at number 3, we have the Orbit V5 playing cards. There's nothing really that great about the tuck box or the faces, but the back design is simple and beautiful. The only way I can describe this deck of playing cards right here is clean. Although technically the deck of cards I'm holding in my hands is not, because I've used it so much. The white, especially in that center circle back, truly looks like it has an amplified white color. I'm not entirely sure how they did that, but it is the whitest white on a deck of cards I've seen in a while. Plus, although I wouldn't have thought it would have worked out originally, the dark cyan plus the orange really worked well together. It wasn't a super thick border, and the orange cigar band all the way around the outside makes fanning look great. And that's why this clean deck right here is number 3. And coming in at number 2, we have the Athena Shield playing cards by the Card Mafia. My second and third favorite parts about this deck being the back design and the court cards, which although I do like, cannot compare at all to the best part of this deck, of course, being the tuck box. This matte black tuck box has both purple and black foiling all the way around it, which this purple foiling is honestly unbelievable. Purple, in my opinion, has always been a color that resembles royalty, and this one hits it on the head. Plus, each of these tuck boxes were put together by hand, which took 20 minutes per tuck box. And the way that it opens just like that is truly just insane. I mean, seriously, name another tuck box that isn't by Card Mafia that looks like this. It's honestly just unbelievable, but that's why this deck of cards right here is number 2. And before we get into number 1, we have 2 runner-ups. First of which being the B-roll playing cards. I know that a lot of people wouldn't have guessed this one being in my top 5, well technically number 7, but this is honestly one of my favorite decks. And has been since I got it. I love black and white designs, which definitely helped this deck get into this video. But it's not just being black and white that can help it. This deck is one of the simplest and cleanest decks in my collection. The lines are perfectly placed, and the reel-to-reel in the middle of it looks so cool. If you get a new deck of bicycle playing cards and look at the lines, they're honestly not that great. But the lines on the back of this design work is just unbelievable. Plus, probably my favorite part about this deck is that there's a hidden one-way design in it. A one-way design is the difference between the 7 of spades and the 6 of diamonds, because when you flip over the 6 of diamonds, you can't tell which way is up and which way is down. But when you flip over the 7 of spades, you can tell which way is up and which way is down, which makes it a one-way design. And if you want to know how this deck of playing cards right here is a one-way design, I made an entire video on 6 different decks of cards that you didn't know were one-way designs, and I'll leave it in the description below. Coming in at number 6, we have the Oblique playing cards by Card Cuts. This deck has a lot of things that I love about it, and one is just the amount of customization within this deck. This is one of the only decks of cards that can make something look 3D because of the amount of shadows and layering in this deck. When it comes to the aces, the court cards, and even the extra card that is just for artistic value, you'll see that there's a lot of line work done to make it look 3D and popping off the page. But the best part about this deck is truly the back design. When you give it a fan, you'll see that the top left and bottom right give it this really cool cigar band that goes all the way around and is one of the thickest cigar bands that I have in my collection. Plus the purples, pinks, light blues, oranges, and reds, and all these other colors all mixed together, almost like a fluid color, is really cool. Plus, although it's not the first thing that pops out when you see the back design, there's a lot of black in it that almost fades to the back. And I love the intentionality by putting the different swords and hands that come from the court cards on the back design. And that's why this deck of cards right here is at number 6. Now before we get into number 1, just know that a lot of these decks of cards that I talked about in this video are going to be in the description for 10% off using code cardperfectmagician, so I can save you some money. You're welcome. Plus, if you want to check out any of the reviews for these decks of cards, I'll leave them in the description below as well. But without any further ado, my favorite deck in my collection is the Z deck by December Boys. The matte black tuck box is already a super cool way to start. I love matte black on just about anything, but a 1969 Mustang would be probably the place I'd put it on after this tuck box. One cool thing about this tuck box in relation to that is that the white on it isn't matte. The next cool thing about this is the playing cards. The back design being a borderless design, making it look beautiful for cardistry, and the center Z making it look great for packet cuts. It is a little bit thinner than a normal deck from USPCC because it was crushed, which is going to make it not quite as thin as the Virtuoso Fall Winter 17s, but thinner than a normal deck, which makes it even easier for cardistry. It is extremely easy to fare, which makes it great for moves like Cascade, and because they muted the red a little bit on the faces but still kept it in there, even the faces have some contrast to them. And honestly, let's just take a quick look at these court cards and the aces because they're truly beautiful. But I think that the part that was most intentional by the December Boys was the 4 ad cards, which are 4 green screen cards. These 4 playing cards you can put into a cardistry video and then be able to make your own back design. This literally gives you endless possibilities in a cardistry deck. Clearly the Z deck is my favorite deck of playing cards in my entire collection, but what is your favorite deck of playing cards? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see my 5 favorite decks from last year during the Top 5 November, I'll let you check it out right there in my entire Top 5 playlist from last year right there. Plus, if you like these types of Top 5 videos, I come out with multiple videos every single week. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. This is Card Perfect, signing off.